Corrupt animal adoption agencies are unfortunately common in America today. One example in particular is the Canine Underground Railroad, or CUR. The CUR is an underground animal transporting group that takes dogs from shelter to shelter to collect donations. Many of the groups go to the south to collect dogs and bring them back in large groups to distribute to their shelters. One of their tactics is to send out a kill list with the names of all the dogs they will allegedly be putting down to the public and asking for donations that can help save those animals from euthanization. That list, however, is a scam. They don't have any intention to put the dogs down. In fact, they mostly work out of no-kill shelters. After receiving the donations from the public, they pretend the dogs have been adopted and the generous donations saved them, when in reality they are taking those dogs to a different shelter to repeat the whole process and make more money for themselves. The CUR uses the poor homeless dogs as a money-making scam. They don't care about the well-being of the animals. They advertise themselves as a dog rescue organization that saves animals from being euthanized and helps them get into their forever home, when in reality they are just looking to make money.
All the things you do.
Other times, the shelters give false information about the animals they are putting up for adoption, such as fabricated vaccination and veterinary records, as well as lies about the breeding background and other information about the animal. This is a very serious problem because it causes people to have second thoughts about adopting pets, and that hurts legitimate rescue groups as well as supports puppy mills. People hear bad stories online and see stories in the news about bad puppy rescue groups. That causes people to lean toward purchasing their dogs from pet stores to avoid getting scammed. The ASPCA has a page of stories submitted by victims of pet adoption scammers online. One particular story has been submitted time and time again, claiming to be an American military base. Teresa from California shared her story as a warning for others. Quote, "My mom has always wanted a teacup Yorkie, so I found myself looking online for one. I found multiple people online claiming to be on a U.S. military base in Cameroon. They all offered a free Yorkie puppy, complete with papers, food, treats, collar, leash, etc. All I had to do was pay the shipping fee, which ranged from $150 to $500. These scammers will email you, talk to you on the phone, and send you all the pictures you want. As soon as you make the mistake of sending them the money, they disappear, never to be heard from again. I made this mistake, and my sister made this mistake. Please warn others so they don't make it." End quote. Some people know the risk of both adopting from a rescue group and of purchasing a dog, so that means some people just decide not to get a dog at all, but that doesn't help the situation. The internet and news programs are a great way to warn potential adopters of the risk, but they're also extremely useful tools to highlight the amazing work of the wonderful shelters who work to rescue animals. One way to stop corruption is to encourage and support the honest adopters. Some shelters, along with being shady and corrupt, are careless and negligent. They cram hundreds of dogs and cats into small, dirty cages with little access to food and clean water. They also adopt dogs out to anyone who wants them without telling the new owners any important information about the dog or making sure they're being sent to a good home. I've heard numerous stories of people who adopted a seemingly healthy dog from a rescue group they'd never heard of before, to later find out the dog has an abundance of serious medical problems. On other occasions, families adopt a dog, then find out it has terrible behavior problems, and they end up not being able to keep it, thus landing the dog back in the shelter. Some corrupt agencies also go as far as working with animal control officers and having them steal people's pets right out of their yard, or illegally confiscating people's pets under false pretenses and selling them to the shelters. A letter posted on the National Missing Pet Rescue site is written by a distraught pet owner whose dogs were illegally confiscated from her home and taken to an animal rescue organization and sold before the owner could get them back. Other agencies steal pictures of people's pets that they find online and advertise those dogs as being up for adoption. An article on the Happy Tales travel website says, quote, "The scammer first puts an ad offering pets for sale at a very low cost. One of their tactics to make the adoption look legit is by showing pictures of the pets stolen from other websites and lifting the entire pet travel website and then inserting a fake name of their business and their contact numbers," end quote. These scammers are not only in physical shelters, they are online too. The best way to avoid these online scammers is to always adopt locally and in person. The CUR is a major problem in the animal rescue industry because it has turned a good thing into a money-making business at the expense of animals. Unfortunately, in some cases, the generous volunteers aren't in it just to save the animals. They might have another motive for all the work they're doing. They exploit the animals to make a profit. They bring dogs from the south up to the north, even though shelters here are already overflowing with dogs they don't have the means to keep and care for. The animals' best interests are not the rescuer's main concern, and that's a major problem. The animal transporters don't only transport the animals across states, they even smuggle them internationally. Other countries have changed their laws about animal transportation. Quote, "In 2012, the pet travel scheme rules were changed, resulting in the introduction of pet passports and a relaxation of the UK's quarantine controls. With profits to be made and a lack of effective controls in the UK, Some breeders across Europe are transferring puppies over thousands of miles with falsified documents and often without the legal vaccinations. This has serious implications for the physical and social well-being of the dog and carries a potential disease risk." End quote. Adopting from other countries is extremely risky. To avoid the potential dangers of an internationally smuggled dog, adopt from your community's local shelter. All in all, corrupt animal rescue organizations are a large and growing problem in America because people are giving false information about dog adoptions, doing shady underground transportation from shelter to shelter, and using the animals to make money. People educating themselves about animal rescue can help to solve this problem because potential adopters will know what signs to look for when searching for a legitimate adoption organization to avoid getting scammed and to stop benefiting the money-making dog traffickers.